founder of a homegrown FMCG company who gave the big boys a run for their money with his grit, determination and some smart innovation.
CavinKare probably revolutionized, the selling of to the bottom of the pyramid.
He always will see the opportunities. We don't see any kind of constraints.
A man who believes that being a price warrior can't always ensure profitable growth.
He was very clearly a lambi race ka ghoda, and he also was a man of destiny.
An entrepreneur who's just as passionate about his brands and business as he is about his sanctuary.
He spends so much time in office, and equally he spends time with us and the birds and everything.
He is CK Ranganathan of CavinKare.
They always say you need to be proud to be your dad's daughter.
And CK Ranganathan is proud to be his father's son. Few people know that Chini Krishnan was the original innovator of the sachet. He believed that whatever a rich man can enjoy, a poor man should afford. 20 years down the line, CK Ranganathan and Chik shampoo have made that dream a reality.
The rural areas, the shampoo consumption was not as high. So there was an element of, probably education also involved, where I guess, if I remember right, they used to have demonstrations. Then they expanded their product portfolio. They got in some additional fragrances in the market. They also got movie actress, South Indian actress to endorse their brand, and probably they also did some advertising in between Rajnikant movies, and obviously Rajnikant is a huge draw. The best thing for them is today the big players like a Unilever or a P&G, all of them have gone through that route.
And while the big boys try to penetrate the rural market where CavinKare has a majority share, CK Ranganathan is concentrating on taking his business global. I read in an interview that you'd earlier given, you said in another decade we will be an HUL in the making. Is that what's been driving you right through your journey with CavinKare so far?
I think we want to be a global company, and we have been always admiring the way HUL has grown worldwide, and particularly in India.
So which is the product from the competition that you think is right up there?
P&G's product I'm always fascinated. Pantene is one, Head & Shoulders is one.
But as the Hindustan Unilevers and the P&Gs of the world try and go into the rural markets, the markets where you actually, started addressing 2 decades ago, you're actually moving into the markets that they've been addressing for several years now.
I think without losing
Market share.
Supposing,
or
for example,
power.
I introduced 2 products in the high-end segment. I introduced 3 in the low end.
But why do you want to make this switch?
I need to continue to upgrade my customers, because customer won't stay still. They will keep on climbing up. Therefore, I need to have products at each point so that I don't lose market share.
How hard has it been taking on the Hindustan Unilevers and the P&Gs in the marketplace?
I won't say it is easy, but it is not very difficult either. And we enjoy the game, and in the process we learn quite a lot.
Is that because they're complacent and haven't seen you as a threat?
No, I don't think so. I think they're responding very well nowadays. It's not like what it used to be in those days. We were not at all taken note of. So we have been seriously, every action there is a reaction.
Really?
So yeah, absolutely.
Give me an example.
I think in the marketplace you offer some displays or some schemes, there is a reaction. When you do that and they counter it with some price points, some kind of schemes and such kind of things.
So does it make you happy that they're finally taking note of you?
No, this has been happening for the last almost a decade. Not now, kind of this thing. So now we are used to that. So that made us also, it's not easy for us to the growth to come by. When it is easier means when somebody is not taking note of you, kind of this thing. Now you are noticed.
And that is bound to happen when an upstart from Cuddalore has his hands on the pulse of the consumer and a mind that's always 2 steps ahead of the curve.
In the early 2000, we were doing close to about 120 crore business. That time he wants to implement SAP. The vendor came, did all the assessment, and finally given the feedback, where do you want to SAP let you reach 500 crores or 1000 crores, that time we will come. It's very expensive. He said, I'm not seeing today, I know this is expensive, I'm affordable to invest, I'm seeing for future.
But CKR wasn't a born genius. In the early 1980s, just out of college, it took him some time to find his feet.
He had come to Bombay along with his brother. The initial impression was that he is a very quiet, reserved kind of a person, and I got to know him better when he branched out on his own. CKR was, he had come from Kadalur, and he had not worked for any large company, but yet almost every single thing that he was doing on his own was what a large company would do.
They have been a reasonably conservative group. In 20 years, they have not got into 50 product category. They have not done extra things. So to that extent, I think it has been a very measured and strategic growth. And now I see them suddenly opening up and getting into newer categories, and suddenly in a short span they are doing many things.
CavinKare entered the beauty salon business in 2002. Last year, CKR joined hands with his younger brother and merged his Limelight and Green Trends brands with Naturals. Plans are now afoot to take the chain national. In 2008, CavinKare made acquisitions in the packaged foods and beverages space. And this is the first company in India to sell pickles in a sachet for just 50 paise. In 2009, CKR opened his first restaurant in Pondicherry and now has 3 restaurant chains. I understand that you're now in conversation with private equity players, but what's held you back so far?
So far, actually, what's happening is we have started with a very small base, if you look at.
You started, I believe, with 15,000 rupees.
Yeah, you are right. So, what we have been thinking always is we need to go to public or to a private equity company only when we require money. So far, we have been managing well. So, I always believe nobody has a money problem, it's ideas problem. So, including for growth, if you look at it, is up to certain extent is okay. Now it is the plans are bigger. I think you require, as an organization, you require enough bandwidth also to handle the money and the kind of plans. I think we are now very well poised to do that.
So the salon business still makes sense because at the end of the day, you're a personal care company, promoting shampoos, hair colors, and so on and so forth. Why the restaurant business?
If you look at foods we got into, then we started developing retard food products. Like this thing, MTRs or the Ashirwad kind of this thing, ready to eat. And you do all those things. For example, I get ready-made feedback from the restaurant about the product, then pack which is most liked and sell those products. And that's how we got into it.
So that's an expensive testing laboratory, isn't it?
That's a very practical. Otherwise, I will end up spending on research.
But in his core business, there has been significant spend on R&D. Flagship brands Chik, Mira and Nile have been tweaked to suit consumer needs in the north, where CavinKare has always enjoyed market share. The strategy now is to not restrict CavinKare to the bottom of the pyramid, but capture market share across the value chain. I want to ask you about the fact that, Chik has now become Chik Plus, for instance. Do you believe that line extension works? And let me put it to you, it may sound rude, but if Chik is being used by the house help, Chik Plus, no matter whether you advertise it with being vitamin H and, enhanced with conditioners and all of that, the housewife in that household is not going to buy into Chik Plus. Isn't that the practical reality? Isn't that the truth? Would not a new brand altogether have helped you or have impacted sales better if you'd actually gone ahead with a new brand for the higher middle class that you're now trying to target?
Absolutely, you are right. Chik is holding a good amount of market share.
Right.
It is about 17-18% market share we hold. So with that, I think we need to continuously rejuvenate and target higher. This aspirationally we have to make our current customers better. So in the process, if it is appealing to one notch above customers, we don't mind.
Okay.
But this is all meant to do the current customers.
Customer that CavinKare was going after when you were Chik India in 1983 was very different from the customer that CavinKare, when it was rechristened CavinKare in 1998, went after in 2010. Who is the customer that CavinKare is going after?
Large middle class.
Are you abandoning the bottom of the pyramid?
We play both ends very well as of now. And we continue to keep our foot on that because that comes very naturally to us. We introduced shampoo in 1998 at 50 paise when we were at 1 rupee. 12-13 years later, still we are selling at the same 50 paise and no reduction in volume. same thing. But the gross margin has gone up by threefold.
So, what has been the big insight for you? How different are customers in, for instance, the north in comparison to the south?
Core challenge is first understanding different cultures of the company.
Right.
Though it is India, different country. Let us look at that. I am preparing product for Kerala as a country, Tamil Nadu as a country, Andhra, Karnataka. Each one is a country by itself. So when I adapt to the local need, I have an edge over the global products offered. So that is one. Then ability to convert that insight into products. In South, if you look at, people would look at when they have to have, when they wash their hair, the oil feel should not be there in the hair. Whereas in North and all, there is some amount of oiliness should be there on the hair. That means the conditioning expectation is reasonably high.
So what is your brief to your R&D team? Because I believe you invest quite significantly in R&D.
It is not, if you ask me that, are you working on a gut feel like a kind of this thing? It's not. I think we have managed to evolve very well.
Right. So
we used to do only gut.
Yeah.
Seldom we used to do research on product to various other things, advertisement, concepts, anything.
But now it's a science.
Now it's science. Very clear.
So a business might be a science now, but CKR hasn't forgotten the art of making it a success.
He's pretty no-nonsense, hard-nosed businessman. But he has a very strong sense of fair play. He knows that he always believes in win-win. So he always allows the other person also to enjoy the relationship with him, to win. That has been the cornerstone of all his business dealings.
He doesn't get hyper or he doesn't get tensed. He's very calm, he's very cool, but at the same time he knows how to handle people. It's an art. I think he's mastered in it, and it's beautiful to see him growing up so much, because I've seen him since small. We used to have a Maruti car, then slowly, and so today he's built his own kingdom.
CavinKare CK Ranganathan started his 1,000 crore rupee FMCG empire in 1983 with just 15,000 rupees and one product, Chik shampoo. A modest start, but one that's left an impression.
He's someone who's very persistent. Even obviously he would have had tough times in the past, but he persisted, and one day he knew that he would become successful.
One thing CKR is indulgent about are his pets. For the past 5 years, he's been building this haven on Chennai's East Coast Road for his animals and birds. I believe you have 300 different types of birds.
Yeah, easily.
Easily? So there's more than 300, is it?
As a kid, I always got fascinated by the pets, animals, pets, birds, and so on. So I always used to have a lot of that. That used to be my prime diversion from my studies. So that's why my mom always used to scold me that either birds are there with you or you are there. Decide which one is going to be at home. So then reluctantly one day I sold off all my pigeons.
I believe you weren't a very good student.
I was not at all. Because when I stepped into business, it is with the kind of complexities, quite a lot of inferiority complex.
Why did you have an inferiority complex? Because I understand that you studied in a Tamil medium school while
those are kind of this thing, because I grew up with such kind of a thing. When you come into the business world, then you think that how inadequate you will be. But when I start discussing with others, as I start understanding, things are not very difficult here. It just, you can also play well.
The inferiority complex is gone.
Yeah, absolutely gone. That's probably one of the problem that more encounters with my brother, because I started discussing strategies and other kind of this thing. Then, eventually felt, I think I need to pursue my own route.
What do they have to say to you today?
Initially, though we were competing as a rivalry kind of this thing. Over a period of time, I think they are very happy.
Is it true that you actually, in the initial years, went around on your own bicycle, peddling shampoo from village to village or city to city? Is that true, or is this just part of the mythology that sort of surrounds a young entrepreneur?
No, actually, I went through bicycles and all is a fact. Because only came into business, I bought my first Lambi scooter. And I burnt a lot of midnight oils in those days. It's not that it's not burning today also, but definitely in those days too much. It is not me alone, it is the team members who are, I am very, very happy that they have made what CavinKare is today. It is not all the ideas that come from me, it is quite a lot of ideas have been contributed by them.
And CKR's team is equally happy with him and describes him as a great people's manager.
When I finished a meeting with CKR, we feel charged, enlightened, motivated. When 1984, in the initial stages, there was a little bit struggle in our business. Even we couldn't get stocks from the third-party units and other things. He is only concerned. We used to discuss with each other, sitting on the sand nearby a road, and we always discuss on the employee welfare. At least we should pay to the employee. How can we play? How can we pay? That's how all his thought process are gone in terms of concern on employees.
So I believe when you started with 15,000 rupees, you actually contemplated not getting into the shampoo business because that was something that your brother was already doing. But then eventually you decided, let me do it because this is all I know how to do.
Absolutely, you are right.
So,
you seem to be knowing that.
So what was the hardest part for you to get that business off and running?
Getting quickly the licenses and other parts of that, so that before my resources dry out, there came time. I sent shampoo boxes to all my field force and told them that this is the toughest time we are facing, and please sell the box and take your salary.
So what was the turning point for you then?
The first turning point came in because a lot of competitions were there, quite a lot of Me Too players.
Yeah.
So I sensed that the fundamental thing is, one, you need to have a quality for a consistently consumer coming and asking your brand, and you require good amount of deep pockets to advertise and build a brand. So second one we didn't have. Nobody had money problem, it's only ideas problem. There came an idea of why not we induce consumer.
Yeah.
If they return 5 empty sachets.
Yeah, you give them one Chik sachet free.
Free, that's correct.
Yeah.
We started off with any other sachets. 3 months later we said only you have to return Chik shampoo to get a Chik shampoo free. And I think it clearly got a significant lead over others.
CK Ranganathan, the founder of CavinKare, learned early on that experience is one's biggest teacher. So it's no surprise that his pet project right now is the CK School of Practical Knowledge. Building on a model that his father Chini Krishnan developed, the school aims to inculcate in students business acumen and active learning.
He sincerely feels any student who goes out of in the educational institution should be different from others. So that if you look at the infrastructure what we have in schools and the college what we have, it's totally different.
Also, every year since 2003, the CavinKare Ability Awards have honored achievers with disabilities who've risen beyond barriers to realize their dreams.
He is a professed atheist, but most of his actions are highly divine. Even his association with the Ability Foundation, he never talks about it, he never tom-toms about it.
He can put himself in others' shoes and he can think, and he does a lot of good deeds. That's what he keeps telling all of us, that you need to do a lot of good deeds. He has earned a lot of people's true love.
He's a very simple man. He likes people. He likes to move with the people.
Even the last level of employee will have all the guts to talk to CKR boldly, even if there's something which they feel that CKR is on the wrong side also.
Business is not very complex. The more you get into too much of analysis is a paralysis. So I think make things simple, it'll be easy to win.